flyNewBeingKing.com. FlyNewBeingKing.com is our platform for the brothers, for Black men, to talk about the issues that matter to Black men. And so if you want to subscribe to Fly New Being King and you want to talk about, things that brothers care about, go to FlyNewBeingKing.com. We're trying to build Black media, and we appreciate those of you who support this, and not just any Black media, because, we could probably get 1 billion views by just imitating world star hip hop and feeding more ignorance to the Black community. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to feed garbage. We don't want to feed you something that's not going to make you better. We want to talk to you about things that are going to give you an opportunity to elevate your thinking. Good morning, Bren and Eric and Dula Day and Deanna and Loke. Is that Loke Dot? I thought I was going to say Loke Dog. I think that was a character in Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. Anybody else see that movie? Funniest movie ever. But Wayans family, hands down, most talented Hollywood family in history. Like, no question about it. Funny as hell. I love them. I met Damon Wayans one time at on Stephen A. Smith show. He had a show on ESPN called Quite Frankly with Stephen A. Smith back in the day, and that was when I met Damon. So anyway, so good morning, everybody. And let's see, I see Kibo and Monica and Jamal and Alan. Good morning, Alan from Louisville. Cool, awesome, man. Nice to meet somebody from the Ville. All right, so here's what's up, Willie D? My man Willie D's in here. Willie, we got to talk because the All Black National Convention is going to be in Houston, and I would love to partner with you on that. So let's talk business when you get a chance, because I can't go to Houston without showing respect to the King of Houston, Willie D. You might know him from the Ghetto Boys, but you should know him from the great work that he's doing on the internet with his YouTube channel, Willie D Live, where he is talking about all the issues that Black people need to be talking about. And I'm hoping that everybody will will follow the lead of the Willie D's and Charlamagne's, Therese, and everybody else, and talk about the Albert Wilson case. The Albert Wilson case is it's arguably one of the most egregious injustices, in this country right now, in recent history. And that's saying a lot, given that the Black man is actually the one who's distributed the most injustice of any group in America. And what I did was I took the time to, I reached out to a few people because I just felt that this case needed to be discussed. Albert Wilson is in Kansas, and he's a college student, and he just got 12 years in prison. He's not on trial. That shit's over. Like he's on trial for this. He has been convicted. They have given him 12 years in prison for kissing a white girl. Now, you might think I'm bullshitting. You might think I'm exaggerating. You might think I'm trying to be dramatic. No, it reminds me, you might remember a decade ago when I went out to Missouri to fight on a case. I'm thinking about this, like Kansas, and Lawrence, Kansas ain't that far from Missouri. So there must be like the racism belt or some shit, because we went out there to Missouri to fight on behalf of a young lady named Heather Ellis. If you recall, some of y'all have been following me for a real long time, might remember this. Heather Ellis was a Black college student who faced 15 years in prison after she cut in line at a Walmart. Literally, she goes to a Walmart and got accused of cutting in line, and that led to a whole situation where this young lady was facing 15 years in prison for allegedly assaulting a police officer when actually the cops had assaulted her. It was egregious. It was unbelievable. And when I would bring it up, like when and it was covered eventually. Nobody knew about it at first when we grabbed it, and then eventually it was covered by CNN and USA Today and Good Morning America and all of that. And they did, because they didn't believe it when I first said it. I said, yeah, she's facing 15 years of prison for coming in line at Walmart. They're like, oh, no, that's not possible. What? Well, like a lot of people get that nigga wake up call. It's like even some Black people like, oh, that doesn't happen anymore. That used to happen back during slavery, but that doesn't happen. No, it happened. 15 years in prison, cutting in line at Walmart. Let me give you the details. Well, in this case of Albert Wilson, this reminds me of the Heather Ellis situation, because literally, Albert Wilson is facing 15 years. He's not facing, scratch that, not facing 15 years. He's getting 12 years. He's gotten the years. Like the years have been, you are convicted. You are hereby sentenced to X number of years in the blah, blah, blah correctional facility for what amounts to basically kissing a white girl. It's amazing. So anyway, as we get started, as you guys know, on the Spot for Intelligent Black People, first thing we do is I ask you guys to yell your dreams out loud. So please, let's do a quick city shout out. Shout out your city, your business, or your dream. I want you to promote your Black business so other Black people know about your business. You can promote it right here on this platform in the comments. So shout out your city, your business, or your dream. Black 122 says, Doc, you the hardest working man in showbiz. Well, this ain't showbiz. This is real biz. This is real. This is a real situation. This ain't entertainment. It might be fun, or I might seem fun and everything else, but believe me, this is my life's work. You know, this is a mission. This is an important mission that I think all of us as Black people should be on in order to improve our community. You know, if you ain't ready to fight and die for something you believe in, then you really haven't lived. So I see Houston, Texas. Real Rick, all right, I love Houston. You know, that's where the All Black National Convention is going to be. LaDanya says real life. Eddie says he's a life coach. All right, that's great. Divine Wisdom says ADOS. Yep, American descendants of slaves. I do support that movement. Let's see here, Mr. Pirate Brain, Austin, Texas, from Baltimore. I see Seattle, Pan-Africanism from Dennis. I see people helping people from Precious Lewis. Shanice Round Rock. I don't know exactly what that is, but that sounds cool. Let's see here. MPLS. What is MPLS? Is that your business or your city? So you can shout out your city, or you can shout out your business, or shout out your dream, either one. Grand Rapids from Harvey. Okay, all right. So I see your cities, and I'll go back to that. But what I want to do is get to the point. You know, we've been talking for a second just to kind of get to know each other again. But let me dig into some of the facts and the information that I was able to kind of scoop up about this case of Albert Wilson, the college student in Kansas who just got 12 years in prison for kissing a white girl. I reached out to Charlemagne the God at the Breakfast Club. And Charlemagne, I've known Charlemagne for a while, since about 2006, when he was back on the Wendy Williams show. And I was on that show a few times. And I remember I was initially impressed with him because I remember I mentioned my book. I had this book at the time that you can actually still look at if you want to. It's called What If George Bush Were a Black Man? And in this book, I broke down and analyzed the experience of the Black male from a statistical analytical perspective. And I said, what if you took George Bush or some white guy who doesn't work very hard, who gets in a little bit of trouble, who makes a couple of mistakes, and make him Black? You know, let's make him Black, and let's even make him poor and Black, and let's see what happens. Just from a statistical standpoint, what's likely to happen to this person if he were Black instead of white and didn't get 1,000,001 chances, like say George Bush or something like that. And it was a really fascinating analysis, you know, because, you know, when you really look at that, what you find is that the big challenge for the Black man in America is this. The big challenge for the Black man in America is that Black men, because we're seen as subhuman, we're not given the right or the opportunity to be human. We're not given the right to make human mistakes. You know, when you know, the same mistakes that might cause a white person or a white woman a little bit of inconvenience, maybe a talking to from the cops or whatever, are the same mistakes that can get a Black man killed or in prison. You know, Nipsey Hussle's a perfect example. Nipsey Hussle, you know, gets into a little altercation, a little situation, a little argument with some guy, you know, because the guy apparently was a snitch or whatever he was doing, whatever the hell he was doing. Nipsey didn't like him. They exchange words. Next thing you know, next day Nipsey's dead. You know, and I have friends like that. My best friend Greg Wilkins, same thing. He had a friend who happened to be into some stuff that he didn't know nothing about. Next thing you know, some killers show up in his house and shoot him in the head in front of his daughter. Black men have a much, much smaller margin of error for their mistakes than everybody else. You know, when I was at Syracuse University, we had students that were nothing more than pretty much alcoholics and drug addicts. Not that every student at Syracuse was like that, but there were quite a few. Syracuse is known as a big party school. White kids go to that school and they just act a damn fool. And now I'm old school. I'm Black. I'm from the South, and I grew up in a world where we knew that there was a double standard. We knew the rules weren't the same. You know, I remember looking at them, and here I am. I'm a professor now. I'm not a student, but I'm looking at them thinking, wow. If I lived like that, if I did some of the shit y'all did, I'd be up under the prison right now. They locked me up for 100 years. And as Black people, we're used to that. We accept that. We accept this double standard, and we just say, well, that's just the way it's supposed to be. Well, the Albert Wilson case, I believe, exemplifies that. And so I think it's one of those cases. If you're going to get involved in something, I hope you'll get involved in this. Now let me open up this message. Charlemagne sent forwarded over. I reached out to Charlemagne, and to his credit, I was like, "Hey man, look, you gotta talk about this, bro, because this is important, you know." And to his credit, he's already aware. He's a smart guy. He's very culturally aware. And one of the things that he said, well, I heard from the family, and they sent me some information. I said, okay, well, do you want to send it over to me? He said, yeah, I'll email it to you. So I have the email right here in front of me, and I wanted to share this with you guys because my number one goal is to at least give you an opportunity to decide if you want to talk about this or not. Everybody in here has a Facebook page, I'm sure. Most of you in here, a lot of you in here might have a YouTube channel. Most of you in here might have a Twitter account. Most of you in here might have an Instagram page. Some of you have a lot of followers. Some of you can reach a lot of people. Some of you might be attorneys. Some of you may be activists. Some of you may have backgrounds. Some of you may have a couple dollars to donate to the Free Albert Wilson campaign it was on GoFundMe. GoFundMe took it down because GoFundMe was basically like, we're not going to let you raise money for a rapist. But the problem is that he's not a rapist. He kissed a white girl and he got 12 years in prison. So, but again, that systematic bias shows itself in the fact that once white folks decide to slam that gavel on your ass, you have literally been redefined. You have literally gone from subhuman to super subhuman. You've gone from the basement to the basement beneath the basement, because black folks are black. The black man is born in the basement. Listen, because he's born in the basement. But when you get that gavel slammed on you, and then they decide, oh, you're worse than the rest of them. We knew all of y'all, in our minds, all of y'all are dangerous and all of y'all are terrible, but you're one of the most terrible of the most terrible. So we're going to put you underneath the basement. It's like the prison inside the prison. The difference between the prison and actually being in the hole. Well, that's what they do to you when they slam their gavel. They put you in the hole. Once they put you in the hole, you have no rights. Once they put you in the hole, you are a slave. That's not me being dramatic. That's actually in the United States Constitution, that once you've been convicted of a crime, you are a slave. Once they slam the gavel on you, you have a life sentence. Albert Wilson, as a result of this judge slamming the gavel on him, this white woman that slammed the gavel on him, he now is going to be on probation, I believe, for the rest of his life. He's going to be registered as a sex offender for the rest of his life. And has anybody had any sort of up close experience with the criminal justice system? Is anybody ever, really, raise your hand. Tell me if you or somebody you love has had an up close and personal experience with the criminal justice system. Say something. Let me know. Because the thing about this system that you got to understand is that once you in, it don't let you out. Just this week, NASA and everybody was all excited because they finally took a picture. They put together all the supercomputers and telescopes around the world to take a picture, the first ever picture of a black hole. Like, for some reason, because of the extensive amount of gravity and the fact that light can't escape from the hole, and they're 50 million light years away, they've never been able to photograph a black hole, right? So finally, this landmark achievement, which, with billions of dollars, it probably could have been spent like feeding people, but fuck that. They're white. They get to do special things like this, right? So they all were able to come together and take a picture of a black hole for the first time ever. And the thing about a black hole is that it sucks you in. It sucks in everything around it, including light. Light can't even escape a black hole. Well, the American justice system is a social version of a black hole. It's a black hole for black people, meaning that once they suck you in, it's so hard to get out. Once you're in, Meek Mill, God bless him, is actually addressing this issue as well. Once you're in, there's a million different ways they can suck you back in. You're on probation. They're like, well, if we find out you're smoking weed, you're going to jail. If your girlfriend gets mad at you and says that you grabbed her arm, you're going to jail. If you don't show up to your meeting on time, you're going to jail. We need you to turn the paperwork on Tuesday. If you don't turn the paperwork, you're going to jail. Everything is you're going to jail, you're going to jail, you're going to jail, you're going to jail. So that means basically if you make any percentage of the 1,000,001 mistakes that regular people make, your black ass going right back to jail. And that's the thing. Like, so once you're a child, that's why I tell you, and it makes perfect sense when people say, don't talk to the police. Don't engage with the police. Don't go near the police. And that's sad. I'm the son of a cop. I hate having to say that. But what happens is that the more you engage with the police, the greater likelihood you have of being sucked into that black hole called the criminal justice system. Just by having a conversation with a cop, that can cost you your freedom and maybe your life and definitely your sanity, because ain't nothing gonna drive you crazy faster than being black in America. We know that. So, so hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't done that, please take 1 second right now. Please hit that thumbs up button. And I'm gonna go through. I've talked on this issue for a second, so I want to actually give you what's actually in the email. But I wanted to make sure we understood what was really happening here, what the context is, and why this is an important conversation. And then later on today at 2 p.m. Eastern, Dr. Claude Anderson is going to come through, and I think I'm going to ask him about this as well to try to see what, if he has a perspective based on history that will help us understand this better. That'll be 2 p.m. Eastern at drboycetv.com. All right, so here's some facts about the case that were sent by a man named Jesse Rogers. Jesse is working on behalf of Albert Wilson. I guess he's a family representative, etc. And he says that, number one, he gives a little facts here. Number one, his saliva, Albert's saliva, was on the girl's chest. That was apparently some of the DNA evidence that they used for the conviction. And what he explains is that the DNA or the saliva was on the chest because they were kissing, and I guess you kiss and maybe a little bit of saliva falls down. That ain't rape. That ain't rape, right? So the second thing, they said surveillance video shows the two engaging in affectionate behavior at the bar before they left. So this white girl wanted him. She was jumping all over him, kissing him, but she slipped on a crack in the sidewalk, and then she jumped up and started kissing him again, jumped in his arms. I mean, she wanted him. She wanted that black penis that night, or she wanted something off of him because she was acting awfully affectionate toward him. It wasn't like he put a gun to her head and said, get out of here. We gonna get out of here, and you're gonna do what the hell I say. No, she wanted him as much as apparently he might have wanted her, or maybe actually it's the other way around. Maybe he wanted her less than she wanted him, and that's why she got pissed off and decided a month after the fact that that she ended up charging him or claiming that he raped her. Number three, phone records prove that they were in the house for 5 minutes. This was before heading back to the bar together, which surveillance video captures. So according to phone records and surveillance video, they were in that bar for in his apartment for 5 minutes. So basically, think about this. Let me just process this. This is what I need. I need anybody who has a black son to help make sure their son understands this basic idea. This black man is going to be in prison, going through only God knows what, because they got real scary people in prison. They got real criminals. A few of the people in prison are real criminals. A few of them are. Some of them are. Some of them aren't. Some of them are just black men who made a mistake. But some of them are, or white men who made a mistake. But some of them are people that even grown ass men are afraid of. He's going to be yanked out of college, put in prison, put back in slavery, and then pretty much locked into the system for the rest of his life because he kissed a white girl for 5 minutes. If that don't scare the fuck out of you, I don't know what does. I don't know what to do. I ain't never seen a horror movie in my life that got to me the way this case got to me. This is a blatant and extraordinary reminder to all of you of the danger of how dangerous the Me Too movement is. And if anything, I already told you guys that I wasn't voting for no Democrats or nothing if they supported the Me Too nonsense. And this solidified my perspective on this because this is ridiculous. This is absolutely insane. So anyway, let me keep going. Let's see. The fourth thing that they mentioned is that Mr. Wilson got 12 years because that is the minimum for sentencing in rape case convictions. Also, a lifetime of probation and registered sex offender status. So in Kansas, apparently, a place that is actually notorious for locking up innocent black men. Kansas has a long list of very racially charged, unfair verdicts against black men. In this weird state, apparently the minimum sentence you can get for a rape case conviction is 12 years, which means even if the judge did actually have some common sense, even if the judge did, believe that, well, maybe kissing a white girl doesn't deserve a 12-year sentence, it doesn't matter. The judge had to give him 12 years based on the conviction. So let's keep going. Number 5, Albert Wilson actually told the judge he came from a different background when the judge had asked him why he told investigators originally that he didn't know what happened that night. So what they're referencing is basically that there was a point where I guess when Albert was talking to them, he did what I think any intelligent black man would do. He was like, I don't remember nothing. I don't know nothing. I don't got nothing to do with it. Right. I mean, that's literally, I mean, or it maybe the only better response he could have had is lawyer. Well, what were you doing that night, Albert? Lawyer. Would you have an alibi, Albert, to tell us where you were that night? Lawyer. Albert, so where do you go to school, Albert? Lawyer. Albert, your mom's on the phone. Do you want to talk to you want to go call your mom? Lawyer, right? Like literally, like I think just talking to these individuals is dangerous. If you haven't told your son this, you must let your son know that if he gets into any situation with the police, you shut the fuck up. That's the protocol. Shut the fuck up. Don't say nothing. Don't talk, because they will buddy up with you. They will play good cop, bad cop with you. They will say, oh, well, we know you didn't do it. You're not going to get charged. They will lie to you. They will lie. They don't have any obligation to tell you the truth. They have no obligation to tell you the truth. So, and I know cops. And that's what they'll say. They'll say, oh, yeah, we lie all the time. We'll tell them whatever they need to hear to get them to fess up or to get them to give us the information. So they'll lie. They'll be like, oh, and you'll be like, well, can I actually be charged on this? No, you won't be charged. There's no chance you'll be charged. I bet my whole salary for the next 10 years that you won't be charged. We just want to help you. We want to help you get out of this situation. So just tell us what happened, right? And then next thing you know, your son is talking. Next thing you know, he's getting charged. And it doesn't matter if he's mad. They still want to lock him up. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's see. 6. There were 9 women and 3 men on the jury, all white. The judge was a woman and white. The prosecutor was also a white woman. So I think that I like this point. I think it's an important point to make in the Albert Wilson case, because it really is a visual that exemplifies to you, that should exemplify to you, the incredible connection between the way justice is administered in the United States today and the way justice was administered in the United States 300 years ago. Let me see here. Somebody says, Sean says, I'm a lawyer and I'm telling you, Dr. Boyce is right to say lawyer, then go silent. Yeah, okay, so there you go. We got legal confirmation here. Anybody else who has any experience or anybody who agrees with that point, that lawyer should be the only word that comes out of your mouth or your child's mouth when they engage with the cops, raise your hand. Say, yes, I agree. Please, we need to make a commitment right now that we're going to understand that you just don't talk to the police. And it's not me sitting here saying I hate cops. I don't hate all cops. My father's a cop. It doesn't mean I'm saying that, cops haven't done good things in the world, that there aren't some good cops in the world. There are some good cops. The problem is that you're not dealing with the heart of a human being when you talk to a cop. You're dealing with a system, and systems have no heart. You're dealing with undeniably racist systems. Undeniably racist systems have one objective: to maintain white supremacy in America. So even if the cop is a good guy, even if he's a guy that believes in fairness and wants to do the right thing by your child, it won't really matter, because even if he tries to step up and help your child, the system's going to smack him, the system's going to bitch slap him, and he's going to lose his job, he's going to get punished, he's going to get ostracized by his peers. And the system's going to force him to either conform to the agenda of the system or get out, right? So white supremacist systems are a lot like capitalism. America, people say, well, America's a capitalist society and we got to change that. We got to, or you go to a CEO of a corporation and let's say the CEO is like, well, capitalism's bad. We shouldn't be trying to fight for every penny and only believing money's the most important thing in the world. That's not right to do, right? So the CEO comes in and they try to implement an agenda that's not consistent with the capitalist system. Well, what happens to that CEO? Can anybody guess what will happen to a CEO of a company who decides that they don't want to be completely capitalist and they want to defy the capitalist system? What's going to happen? The system's going to boot them out. The system's going to boot them out. It's no different from, and that's exactly what happens with white supremacy. If somebody goes into a white supremacist system and your black ass decides, well, I'm going to change the system from the inside. I'm going to go and I'm going to be a prosecutor and I'm going to go and work for the government so I can make sure I fix the system from the inside out. I want to be president of the United States. Barack Obama, I'm going to be the first black president. When I get in there, I'm going to paint the White House black. I'm going to do all this stuff for black people, this, that, that. And then you get in there and that system's like, oh, no, you don't, nigga. You ain't changing shit. You signed on with us, which means that you're gonna have to do all the adjusting because the system ain't moving an inch. And so basically, what you have to understand is that there's a difference between systematic racism and the racism that lies in the hearts of man. Who cares about what lies in the heart of another man? That's not really a big deal. That's what they want you to focus on. When Michelle Obama tells these cute little stories in her book about racism, she never tells stories that are systematic in nature. From what I've gathered, I've never heard her tell a story about broad, vast, systematic infrastructural issues with racism that need to be addressed. Michelle Obama will tell some dumbass story. No disrespect. I'm not dissing the first lady, but I am dissing the first lady. So who gives a fuck? But she'll tell a story like, well, Barack's grandmother used to believe that black men were scary, and so she's kind of like Jeremiah Wright, the crazy pastor who actually had a point when he actually spoke for 50 years about the effects of systematic racism, right? So it's kind of like when they want you to kind of be distracted from the real culprit, they will talk about stupid things like, everybody knows. I think Barack. I remember Barack saying this. I'm not picking on the Obamas today; they're just on my mind. But Barack was talking about racism, and he said something like, "Well, I'm sure all of us have had a point in time where we got out of the car or we were walking into a fancy hotel and someone handed us their keys and thought that we were the valet, right? Like they really think like they really either believe. I hope they're not that dumb. I don't think they're that dumb. But the system is talking. That's the system saying, Negro, you better not mention. You better not bite the hand that feeds you. You better not mention anything that has to do with our broader agenda in this system. You better talk about stories that are stupid, that won't make a difference. That stories that you can tell all day and they won't have an impact on the way the system operates. Because if you defy the white supremacist system, typically the white supremacist system will kick your black ass out. It's no different from somebody who decides, I'm going to go play for the Dallas Cowboys, but I'm going to go score points for the Washington Redskins. Right? If I go put on a Cowboys uniform and decide that I'm going to play for the Cowboys, but really I'm going to try to score points, we're going to play the Redskins, and really I'm going to run into the wrong end zone so the Redskins can get points instead of us. Or every time I get the ball, I'm going to fumble the ball. Or every time I'm going to line up as quarterback and I'm going to throw interceptions on purpose. What's going to happen to a player like that? They're going to be kicked off the team because they're going to say, you're not playing in a way that is consistent with our system. So systems always have more power than individuals. Get that through your thick head right now. And I say that to you because that's what my mom used to say. My mom used to be like, boy, get that through your thick head. We need to get it through all of our thick skulls that systems matter more than what an individual does. And that's why I tell you that the number one thing you can teach your child actually is to create systems so that he can have systems for making money, systems for organization, systems for creating his own business. System has more power than labor. System has more power than one person's opinion. Systems are what runs this country. Learn systems. Don't conform to systems. Don't try to change systems. You must learn as Black people how to create alternative systems. So anyway, I drilled into that point because this relates to this systematic issue, which is the Albert Wilson case, and the fact that it's the criminal justice system and the racism that's infected the system since its inception that's leading to this Black man facing or getting 12 years in prison for kissing a white girl. Please hit the thumbs up button. I'm gonna keep going. Please hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done this yet. Very important. Also, if you want to support intelligent Black media, support our platform, please go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. All right, and I'll be back on today with Dr. Claude Anderson at 2 p.m. Eastern at drvoicetv.com. All right, so let's see here. He mentioned, so then the person, Roger, Jesse Rogers, he tells Charlemagne, he says, you missed some important information about the case. One thing he mentions is the original charges brought against Mr. Wilson were rape by force. Pay attention now. That was the original charge. The original charge was you forced her to have sex with you, so that's rape by force. In the preliminary hearing, the district attorney had the accuser take the stand and state and asked her explicitly. He explicitly asked this young lady on the stand, he said, did he force you? The accuser said no. The court went to recess and came back with 2 new charges against Mr. Wilson. So they said, oh wait, we thought he forced her. We thought he tied her down and held her down or whatever. And she's like, no, he didn't force me. So they went and they were like, okay, recess. So they called a recess. They left the room and they came back and they said, we have 2 new charges. The 2 new charges were rape by fear or intoxication, meaning that he scared her into kissing her or whatever they did, because they didn't have sex. They proved that they no penis went into any hole in her body that night. Not her vagina, not her mouth, not her ears, not her butt. I know I'm being graphic, but y'all know, he did not penetrate her at all. Right, and so basically, they're saying that that the new charge was rape by fear or intoxication, which basically says if you sleep with a drunk woman, then you are a rapist. And also, and which I actually have a deeper point to make about that, which is really interesting. I was thinking about that this morning, which I mean, my head was about to explode because I was processing this. And the second charge they put on him was from when they were on the dance floor. And in this area called the Boom Boom Room of this club. And in the Boom Boom Room, apparently that's where people go to get freaky. You squeezing asses and you touching people's penises and vaginas and whatever else they do in the Boom Boom Room. And when they were in the Boom Boom Room, I guess she's all over him. She's trying to get some or whatever. So he does, what people do when they're trying to get each other excited, and he touches her vagina in the Boom Boom Room. So they charged him for that. They had said you raped her basically in public also by touching her vagina, even though she wanted you to touch her vagina. Right? Fascinating, amazing, extraordinary case. Mind-boggling. Number 2, the accuser's cousin at the bar, which was called the Hawk, had a male friend let them in. So the accuser's cousin was like, I got a friend that could get you into this bar. I don't even think she got carded. They didn't even look at her ID. Right? He had a fake ID. So this bar, the Hawk, this bar should be getting sued. Like sued. If I'm this kid's mother, I'm suing the living shit out of this bar. So they let both of them in. They're both under 21. He's 20, she's 17. They come, and again, he's in this. He's probably assuming, well, if you're in this bar for people over 21, then that probably means you're over 21. Right? You don't go. It's not his job to card her. It's not his. You're in this bar for people that it says only over 21 allowed. So you're assuming, okay, if you're in here and you are in the Boom Boom Room with me and you jumping all over me trying to get freaky and everything else, then that must mean that you're over 21. This is grown folks doing our thing right now, right? So listen to this. So the accuser had a cousin, and the cousin basically said, hey, I've got this friend who works at this bar called the Hawk. So the male friend and staff knew that the girl was underage. So this friend knew the girl was underage and let her in. Once Albert, and I'm reading here, once Albert and the girl got back to the bar, the male friend who helped get the 2 girls in testified. So their friend, the accuser's cousin's friend, testified and said that the accusing girl was not that drunk, by which she claims that, she's claiming that, I guess the prosecutors are like, oh, she was so drunk, she didn't know where she was. She was stumbling everywhere. She's falling. Her speech is slurred. She don't even know where she's at. Her own cousin's buddy was like, no, she was not that drunk. She knew she wanted that dick that night. She knew she was aiming for the penis. She was going after this black man, and that's what they're gonna do to your son. That you gotta be careful. You know what I'm talking about. We got a 15-year-old in the house. I'm about to be 16 next week. 6'2", handsome, very handsome young man. We walk into a room and you just see all these girls, black, white, Asian, don't matter, just salivating like I'm like, oh Lord. I'm like, I need to sit you down and talk to you, bro, because you're getting a lot of attention right now, and you might think it's a good thing. It may boost your ego right now, but you need to know that you are in danger, man. You are in serious danger, because I'm gonna tell you, ain't nothing worse than a wolf in freak's clothing. Like they will seduce you, they will pull you in, they will beg you for the penis, they will send you naked pictures, they will get so raunchy with you that you will be like, oh my God, I think women are watching than men when they really want to have sex. Tell me if you know what I'm talking about. Tell me if you've seen this. Please testify. Somebody talk black to me on this. Tell me if I'm telling the truth or I'm lying. Seriously. Like really, when a woman is really, this blew my mind. I didn't know this because I grew up believing all the little myths, like where you know how like women are forced to pretend to be all prim and proper, and like they don't even know, like your mom was acting like she's a virgin, like I'm like my mama. I thought my mama was a virgin until I became 30 years old, right? But then when a woman is really like free to be herself and she really wants the sex from a man, you get to a point as a man, sometimes you're like, damn, I don't even have a choice anymore. I thought I was driving the car. Now I feel like I'm in the back seat of the trunk. I'm just here for a ride along because apparently you're gonna get what the hell you want. So the thing is, so I was telling him, I said, look, that's what they'll do. They will be as aggressive as shit until not all of them. I'm not talking about all women now. I'm talking about the assholes and the crazy ones, right? We all know some crazy ones. I said the crazy ones will be aggressive as shit to get that sex from you and be completely complicit with everything until you piss them off. Until you don't do what the hell they told you to do. Right? Until they catch you with that other girl. Until they feel like you broke their heart, or until you don't give them what they fucking thought they were supposed to get out of you. Then next thing you know, she's the innocent victim. Oh, it was terrible, officer. He came and I do declare, he came to me and he just put his big black scary hands on me, officer, and it was terrible, just terrible. And he kept feeding me liquor and he made me drink all night. And I didn't know what was going on. And then he pulls out his penis and I'm like, oh my, right? Like really, it's like you will see that. And I'm not saying that every woman does this. I'm not even saying the majority of women do this, but we all know somebody. We believe in women's equality. I hope that we agree that women and men are equally capable of doing good things or bad things, right? So if you believe in women's equality, then you know one fundamental fact, that men can do great things, women can do great things. Men can do horrible things, women can do horrible things. Cardi B, if anything, was a perfect example of that. Cardi B was spread out on the Instagram. Yeah, and you know what? She speaks that broken English or whatever that people love because black people, we just kind of like that shit, I guess. And she's like, yeah, and I used to hear all the shit I used to have to do. I used to drug and rape niggas. Oh yeah, niggas do that slap with a tranny. I used to drug niggas and rob niggas, and I would rob that nigga. She would rape them, like physically, she would rape their pockets, right? So the thing is, it really kind of shows. I thank Cardi B for making that video because Cardi B shows you that other reality that all of us knew was there, but everybody acts like it ain't there. Everybody acts like that, you're supposed to just believe anything that a woman says, and we know that that's just not true. By the way, thank you, Willie, for the donation. I appreciate you, brother. I respect Willie D immensely, and I want to make sure everybody knows that. It's like what Donald Trump said, Willie could go out and shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue on video, and I would still ride with him because I would assume that he must have had a good reason to shoot somebody. So that's how brothers, I think, have to stick together. And that's what loyalty means. And you have my respect, man, because I love the work that you do, and I think it's extraordinary. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. So let's keep going. All right, so basically, the accuser's cousin's friend, the male friend who let them into the bar underage, the accuser's cousin's friend basically said the girl was not that drunk. He says he knew this by her physical appearance and her walking actions. The male friend was taken off the stand immediately after that statement. So basically, he goes up on the stand, and they were kind of like, okay, yeah, he's going to testify on our behalf. I mean, he's white like us, and of course he knows that this young lady was raped by this animal, this beast this beast over here, right? And so he gets on the stand. He's like, nah, she wasn't that drunk. I mean, she looked like she was walking okay. She looked like she was fine. So they're like, oh, wait, Your Honor, another recess, Your Honor. Get him off the stand. Get him off the stand. He's not going along with the agenda, so we're going to take him off the stand. We're going to shut him down, right? And so what's fascinating to me, though, about this, what really kind of gets to me, which I think is just utterly fascinating, is this idea that we're to the point where we we're trying to defend this sensical kind of way, not in the way where we basically pointed out, like, look, should you go to prison at all? Should you be punished for kissing a person? Right? Should kissing, is it, I mean, have we really gotten that low as a society where kissing a human being can cause you to go to prison for the next 12 years? I don't know. I saw a white man. There was a white man, a gay man apparently. I guess he's gay. Who grabbed Will Smith was signing autographs. Anybody see that when he's taking pictures, signing autographs? And this reporter walks up and just kisses him on the lips. And Will's like, "Get off me!" He smacks the guy. He's like, "What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you?" Right? But if you went to Will and said, yeah, we caught him, sir. We have him in custody, and we're going to put him in prison for the next 12 years and give him lifetime of probation and make him register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Do you agree with that? I don't think Will would say, yeah, he should go to prison for the next 12 years. I think Will would say, kick his ass, punish him, put him out of the place. But no, that's too rough. Don't do that. Don't do that. Right? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you think that Will would have agreed that this man should be sent to prison for 12 years for kissing him? Now it was a forcible kiss, right? Now in this case, it was not a forced kiss. In this case, in the case of Albert Wilson, she wanted to kiss him and then some. According to Albert, she was mad because she wanted more than a kiss. She's like, I want you to kiss me everywhere, and I'm gonna kiss you everywhere too, right? She wanted that. Right, but in Will Smith's case, it's forcible. So do you think Will would have agreed to give this man 12 years in prison for a forcible kiss? The answer is no, obviously, because we all have common sense in here. We're intelligent Black people, so we know that how stupid that is. So the fact that that the whole conversation is even centered around whether or not she was drunk, you got to be careful about being trapped, about letting racist people trap you in stupid arguments where you're majoring in the minors, where you're debating something that shouldn't even be a point of conversation anyway. You shouldn't even get to the point where the only way you can prove that Albert isn't a rapist is by proving that she really wasn't that drunk. That's a dangerous place to be, because if you lose that argument, then that means you have to confess or concede that he's a rapist. No, even if she was drunk, even if she chose to drink her ass off and got pissy drunk, falling down everywhere and slobbering on herself and making a goddamn fool of herself by her choice, if he kissed her and never had sex with her for sure, then he's still not a rapist. He's still not a rapist. I'm sorry. Kissing a drunk person who wants to kiss you back does not make you into a rapist. In fact, let me lay out an alternative scenario for you right now. Let me lay this out for you. Lay this out for you. Albert is a man. She's a woman, right? He probably is stronger than she is, since most of the time men, we have testosterone, which makes us stronger than women. So there are things physically that a man can do to a woman that a woman would have a very difficult time doing to a man, right? So, but here's the thing. The only time physical strength makes a difference in terms of forcing a woman to do something is either if you're using that actual strength, like you're actually forcing someone to do something, or you're creating fear in them, like, if you don't do what I say, you're going to end up, I'm going to force you to do it, right? So those are the only times. So when they asked the young lady, this fell down. When they asked the young lady, they said, did he force you to have sex with him? She answered no. She said, no, he didn't force me to do anything. That means he did not use that physical strength to restrain her, to tie her down, or anything, right? So technically, it wouldn't matter even if Albert was smaller than her, even if Albert was weaker than her, he could still be, convicted of rape because he kissed a girl who claimed she was too drunk to kiss, and whatever, they were together for 5 minutes, right? That's a pretty efficient raping process if you're raping people in 5 minutes and taking phone calls in between, in the middle of the activity, right? So. And that's within 5 minutes. That's how long they were together. So here's the thing. So what if you just switched the gender? Like, what if you had a whole storyline where a Black man says, like, let's say I said this. I tell you guys, hey guys, I was raped. And you're like, what? Boys, you got raped? What happened, boys? And I'm like, well, I was at a bar and I decided to drink, half a bottle of Cavassier or whatever, a Ciroc, and I was tipsy, and there was a girl there, and we were in the boom boom room, and I wanted it, man. I was all over it, but I thought I wanted it, but I really didn't want it because I was too drunk to know what I really wanted at that time. So even though I was grabbing her ass, feeling on her vagina, squeezing her titties, bringing her close to me, I really didn't want her. I was really just too drunk to know what I wanted. And so she takes me back to her apartment. I'm recreating the whole Albert Wilson story with the gender switch, so you can just see how much fuckery is involved in this bullshit, right? So then she says to me, "Oh, I got a place, down the street. You want to come to my place?" And I'm like, "Yeah, girl, let's go to your place." So we go to her place, and when we're there, we do some more kissing. Man, it was a lot of kissing. And then she gets a text message from her friend and says, "Oh, I gotta go." And we go back to the bar and we meet up with her friend, and that means I was raped. And so since I was raped, I'm a rape victim. I need you to go and put her in prison for 12 years. I need you to register her for life with probation and also make her a registered sex offender until the day she dies. How stupid would that sound? How dumb would that sound? Under what circumstances, if any, in any universe, would I be able to convince you that I was a rape victim? I was drunk. She kissed me while I was drunk. And we were together for a whole 5 minutes. God knows, anything can happen in 5 minutes, right? Even though there's only saliva, her saliva is like on my neck because she kissed me on my neck because I asked her to, right? Is there any way, like, how stupid would I look trying to claim to be a rape victim? Right? And so this, to me, that example, I use that example to help us to clearly see the bias that exists toward the Black male in America. I use that to help you see the double standard that exists when you're Black in America. That example helps you to also, I think, clearly see the fact that the rules change when you are Black in America. White women don't have the same rules as Black men. Because if white women had the same rules as Black men, if these feminists really have the equality that were seeking the equality that they claim to be seeking, then they would actually hear that story and say, "Yeah, well, you did get raped," right? But we all know that would be stupid. So let me keep going. Let me read a little bit more. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, don't forget, today at 2 p.m. I'll be on with Dr. Claude Anderson. And also tomorrow on the 12th, we're doing a 24-hour flash discount on blackmoney101.com. Black Money 101 is the introductory class to wealth building in the Black Business School. So for 24 hours, you'll be able to get 70% off. If you want to see the program, you can go to blackmoney101.com. It's got everything from how to build your own Black family bank to how to start your own business to how to become financially fit in 10 minutes or less. It's just literally dozens of hours of powerful content that I put together specifically for Black folks that will get you and your family the training you need on financial literacy and all that stuff. So for 24 hours, you'll be able to get 70% off. So it won't even cost you more than, you can't even buy half a cup of coffee for the amount of money that most of our programs cost. But it's something that affects you for the rest of your life, because financial literacy, as people like Nipsey Hussle told us, these are the things that matter more than almost anything when you're Black in this country. So every Black person should have financial intelligence. So let me keep going. So here are a couple more facts from the representatives of Albert Wilson's family. This is from Charlemagne. I'll say thank you publicly to Charlemagne for sending this information over to me, and I wanted to make sure you guys got it. Now this is, oh my God, I forgot about this one, man. This one got to me big time. Check this out. Pay attention. 2 of the jurors wrote to the judge after deliberation that they were pressured into a decision. One of which had said she actually believed Albert to be innocent. The lawyer motioned for a retrial based on that and was denied by the judge. So this white female judge, after hearing that one of the jurors did not want to convict Albert Wilson at all, one of the jurors said, "I think he's innocent, but I was pressured to make a decision by other people," just like she was pressured into kissing him, allegedly, right? She claimed, again, think about this. The girl was claiming she was pressured to kiss him when the reality was she had been kissing him all along on her own, on surveillance camera, but somehow when they got off camera, he was pressuring her. Somehow when off camera, the white woman's words start mattering more than facts, more than evidence. And so she claimed that, look, even though on the camera I'm kissing him, I'm jumping all over him, I'm trying to be all cozy with him. But then as soon as the camera turned off, oh, he was all over me. He wouldn't leave me alone. I wanted to go. Right. So this juror is saying the same thing. The juror is saying that I didn't want to convict this young man because I don't think ruining his life over a kiss makes any sense. And she was pressured into making that decision. But the judge said, oh, nothing to see here. Just a black man's life we're ruining. There's nothing important here. There's nothing that actually matters here. It's like in Huckleberry Finn when they had a part in the book where they said something like, they said, yeah, there was a big fire. They said, oh my gosh, was anybody hurt? They said, well, 2 niggers were killed. And they say, oh, good. I'm glad nobody was hurt. Right? That's how they see you. They've always seen the black man and the black woman as person non grata. I think that's the term. I'm not good with fancy terms, but you are seen as a nobody. You are seen as subhuman. You are seen to be actually worth less than a dog. You will get in much more trouble with white people for killing a dog on video than you will for killing a black man on video. That is a proven fact. So basically, even though the juror was like, no, I didn't want to convict him, the juror was pressured by the white lynch mob. We call them juries, but they're really lynch mobs. They're really executionists. They're really a group of Nazis that have been gathered to execute black people the same way they execute the Jews. These Nazi soldiers got together and pressured this one juror who wanted to do the right thing. And remember, going back to what I was saying to you earlier, that even if you have one agenda, the system always has a different agenda. So if you try to pursue an agenda that is not consistent with the system will shut you down. So what happened in this case? The juror said, I don't want to pursue this white supremacist agenda of ruining the life of a black man over nothing. So I'm going to pursue an agenda that I think is based on fairness. I'm going to be fair to this young man. And what happened then was the system comes down on her and says, no, you can't do that. Because think about this. You had a black man's life destroyed, his future taken from him. He's got a death sentence. He's basically got a death sentence now because he's going to be a registered sex offender forever. And you had his life destroyed by a white prosecutor, a white judge. I'm sure there were white police officers involved and an all-white jury. So basically, white people are your Nazi soldiers. If you don't get it clearly, white people are your Nazi soldiers and Donald Trump might be your Adolf Hitler. You are living in Nazi Germany right now, but you are too numb and too uneducated to actually see it. You have been trained to be so delusional that you don't understand the world you live in. You are like a Jew living in 1942 Germany. You're in Berlin in 1942, and you think that you're like, well, all Germans ain't bad. All Nazis ain't bad. You know, and the reality is that they've created a whole system where basically they're inviting you over for dinner and you don't even know that you are not there to eat. You are the dinner. You know, but you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get fancy. The master done invited me over for dinner. I'm going to put on my good suit and show up for dinner. No, fool, you are the meal. They eat your ass up. You know how much money they're making off of the death and exploitation of black people in this country? So let me keep going. Let me keep reading. This is interesting too. The prosecuting attorney by the name of Amy McGowan was found guilty of misconduct multiple times stemming from past cases. Not all, but many were related to sexual accusations. A lot of those cases were retried and even dropped. So this prosecutor, and I had my assistant dig into this, this prosecutor is somebody that has a deeper criminal record, in my opinion, than Albert Wilson. Albert Wilson has no prior criminal history. Albert Wilson ain't never got in trouble with nobody. Ain't never had no run-in with the law. This prosecutor, however, has been found guilty of misconduct on multiple occasions. So she has run afoul of the law to the point where she has been punished in the past for her behavior as a prosecutor. Why ain't nobody talking about that? Why will CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, and all these other white networks, why would they be very quick to talk about Albert Wilson, a man with no criminal record, and put his mugshot out there? You know, maybe find an 8th grade picture where somebody said that he was smoking weed with his buddy in the hallway, but they're not going to at any point talk about Amy McGowan and the fact that she herself has been thrown off of cases and had her cases dismissed and had convictions vacated because she was doing some evil, malicious, dirty ass shit. And I bet you the last nickel in my pocket that when she was doing these terrible things, she was doing them to black people, probably to black men. So she was targeting that 6% of the population. It was not equally distributed injustice, equally distributed persecution, equally distributed genocidal execution style attacks on everybody. It was done on black males because that's how America, the system at large, has seen the black male since you arrived on slave ships over 400 years ago. So digging into this, I had my assistant do some research on it, and I wanted her to get me some receipts on Amy McGowan and her past. Now I'm looking here, and I found a case involving a man named Kevin Town, a 21-year-old. He was found not guilty of rape. Again, another rape case in Douglas County. Let me see here. I'm looking to see. He was charged with an alleged rape of a female University of Kansas freshman. The prosecution accused the defendant of entering Gertrude Pearson's room and having sex with her while she was drunk. Let's see here. Defense attorney Sarah Swain said the physical evidence in the case did not support the prosecution's case. Amy McGowan, a chief assistant Douglas County district attorney, told jurors that DNA evidence supported the defendant getting interrupted while having sex with the student, and that two of the students' friends saw him having sex before they confronted him because she was unconscious. Swain argued that the woman's clothes were not torn, she had no physical injuries, and Town's DNA was not found on her clothing, the sexual assault kit, or in the room. So they did a rape kit, and they didn't find any DNA. So anyway, just sort of going on, I think that Amy McGowan got some trouble back on that particular case. And I know that also there was another case that I found here where Amy McGowan has been removed from all of her cases, and assigned to other duties after the Kansas Supreme Court faulted her for trial errors. McGowan's comments during the closing arguments of several trials this isn't one time. This was systematic, consistent professional irresponsibility shown by this woman that's affecting people's lives. From 2007 to 2009, they've been questioned by the court in several recent appeals. Let me see here. She was removed from her caseload of major felony sex crimes, and instead she was assigned as a charging attorney, which was a demotion apparently. She made improper comments during closing arguments. Let's see, what else did she do? In the appeal of Alan Dale Smith, who was sentenced to life in prison for the 2005 slaying of Clarence David Booth near Lecompton, Smith's attorneys argued McGowan made improper comments that prejudiced the jury. McGowan had told the jury that the truth should give them would give the victim a verdict against the defendant. So basically, McGowan was saying, don't look at the evidence, look at what you know to be the truth. From that's what I'm gathering from the story, that basically she was telling the jury, like, look, you know the truth, don't worry about the evidence, that kind of thing. Well, it's kind of interesting because that kind of directly connects to this particular case, right? The evidence is not there. There is no evidence that supports the idea of convicting Albert Wilson. There is no evidence. You have none. They didn't even have sex. The only evidence that you have is evidence that she wanted him. The only evidence you have is evidence that they did not have sex. The only evidence you have is evidence that that she was in the boom boom room trying to get freaky with him, jumping all over this black man, trying to get him to take her home. That's the evidence you have, but you ignore all that evidence in exchange for what? All you have are white woman's words and white woman's tears, which in a racist justice system have more value than the word of a black man, right? Because again, if the case is going to be he said, she said, then why is it that the she said always outweighs the he said? Why is it that her words outweigh his words? If you want to talk about a power imbalance in terms of him being this big brutish black man that could force her into kissing her and do whatever she claims that he did in those 5 minutes that they were alone, well, then if you're going to talk about that power imbalance, then you need to also talk about the power imbalance between the words of her as a white woman and his words as a black man. Why is it that she gets listened to intensely, he gets ignored entirely? That is something that we have to examine as a society. And I would say that if you want to put this justice system on trial, which you should, then the justice system has been found guilty multiple occasions, thousands of occasions, for unfairly prosecuting, unfairly persecuting, unfairly convicting and ruining the lives of Black men for the last 400 years. So, so in this particular case, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to say thank you very much to Super Tech for your donation. I appreciate this, and then thank you for supporting the platform. We really could use your help in terms of doing this, because this ain't easy. You know, we're doing this by ourselves. This is independent Black media. Ain't no white people going to help us do none of this shit. Because when it comes time for us to get free, we gonna have to do the hard work. So anybody who has an issue with Black people who believe in doing for self, I don't even know what to say to a person like that, because I'm sitting here looking at them thinking, like, do you think you live in a Mary Poppins fairy tale where white people are gonna wake up and decide they're gonna help you do things for yourself that you should be doing for yourself? I don't know that. I don't know that reality. I don't know nothing about that line of thinking. So so your support means everything for the platform. I'll continue to be here. Y'all see me every single day for the last 5,000, 10,000 days in a row for the last decade. Y'all see me consistently doing this. So you know what I'm about, you know what I do. And so you know where this money's going to go if you decide to support the platform on any level. So if you decide you'd like to be a patron or to have, to back up the spread of intelligent Black media, please go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. We do not accept donations, but we do accept investments. And basically, by you supporting the platform, we give you free things. We will enhance your life. And if you don't feel that we've enhanced your life in a way that is at least 10 times more valuable than the amount that you've invested in the platform, then I want you to ask for your money back. I want you to walk away, because we're not going to let you put anything into this if you're not getting tenfold back. Okay. So so that's it. So the URL is intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. If you want to go support Albert Wilson, I suggest going to take a look at the website, freealbertwilson.com. That's freealbertwilson.com. GoFundMe, just as a point of record, GoFundMe shut down his GoFundMe account because they're a bunch of racist bastards who believe that because a white person says you're bad, that must mean you're bad. And so they said we're not going to let a rapist raise money on our platform. So, but it's okay. There are other places where money can be raised. And I'm gonna tell you like this: if you're donating money to the platform and putting money into what we're doing, I will go out there, and I know I donated already to Albert Wilson's situation. I will put money together, and I will write a check. And y'all seen me do this before. We wrote checks to Freedom Home Academy International. We write checks for things that we believe in. So this is one thing that I do believe in. So so any support you give, we will make sure that we reach out to Albert Wilson's family and do all we can to be as helpful as we can on this. And I'm gonna keep talking about it. I'm not gonna let this die, because I don't want this young brother's life to be lost. So anyway, that's it. I'm going, guys. Have a good day. And one more thing, if you want to, summer's coming, you got kids that you want to prepare them for the future. Don't just send them to basketball camp, football camp, and cheerleading camp. Create a business camp in your house, and we can help you do that. We've got a great business school for children at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. So I want you to imagine how great it would be for your child to have a college degree from the Black Business School on their wall by the end of the summer. I think that would be a great goal for your child for the end of the summer. Offer them money. Money is a great motivator for kids. So maybe you tell them, I'll give you $50 if you get this certificate by completing the Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program. And what you're going to see is that they're going to be way ahead of the curve. That by the time they get to college, they'll be way ahead of the other kids. And you're going to see them doing great things in their lives for the next 40 years, just like my grandmother invested in me when I was a kid. And that's why I say the things that I say to you to this day. So feel free to go take a look at our kids program at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. So thank you, guys. Love you guys. Hope you have a good day. And I'm about to go see what my woman wanted. She peeked in and stepped back out, but I'm about to go talk to her now. So see you guys later. Have a good day. Take care. Peace.